All right, so we were expecting more of a drop overnight, but we did have opportunity there in the morning, as expected, to close out right at the open, to close out of a short position open right at the close in the midst of that pop. It would have been a pretty solid gain, not a huge one, but it would have worked out pretty well. Um, and then the idea, and this was a little. I didn't really talk much about opening up along here in real time, just because it was a little murky, but one based on these cards and looking at the reading, one could have basically followed along the trade, opened up along and closed it at this peak somewhere between 11 and 1 o'clock. 12 o'clock, like right smack in the middle, right smack in the middle. And I mean, you could have waited till the end, like I advised people throughout the day to wait. If they had higher risk tolerance, they could wait till the end of the day maybe. But point is this is the clean trade right here. This is the clean trade, in and out before all this nonsense, right? So that was a pretty solid trade. In any case, I did advise people to get into long positions, especially if they were stuck in a short before the close, and advised if you've got low risk tolerance to close out in this pop right at the close. Would have made a little gain there. I expect we'll probably be higher in the pre-market or right at the open. And tomorrow's a really tricky day to be trading. So my sense is that if we open higher, I would just exit the long, like post haste. If I'm still in a short, there may be opportunity here, but it's really difficult to determine because we've got four nullified cards, guys. Four nullified significator cards. Hey, Robert. So if you're just hopping on, guys, we're covering SPY, S&P 500 ETF. We're going to cover Bitcoin after that. We're going to cover Boeing. And then I'm going to take a look at silver. Then we're going to take some questions and answers. This is a regularly scheduled live stream, subscribers only. So in order to ask questions, you must be a subscriber. But it's as many questions as you like within the given hour. If you want priority answering, then you get a star next to your name by becoming a member. And we do this 8 p.m. slot on Wednesdays. We also do it on Sundays now. It seems like Sunday's actually becoming pretty popular. Thanks for the suggestion on the time slot, Robert. I believe that was you. So, yeah, based on all these nullifications, I'd probably just exit out of the long as soon as I have a good opportunity right at the open. There is, like I said, a possibility that we've got a low here. It's not the strongest possibility. And again, I wouldn't want to stay in a position throughout the day here based on these four nullifications. It's just going to be such a like as much as we can see, we know there's things that we don't see. If that makes sense. When you have a nullification, as much as you can see, you know that there's something that you're missing when you see a nullification. And so why trade when you see those things, you know? It's just like if you were a technical analysis trader, same type of mentality or if then thinking is like if you can't clearly determine which direction you think something's going to go, or you can't clearly determine like the entry and the exit, then why would you start the trade to begin with? You know, just look for something else. From the standpoint of the 1 month, so definitely was not expecting this big of a move and a new high here on the ninth, and with that change in what with that, I guess, permutation, if you want to call it that, here on the ninth, my sense is that there's a good chance that we have another highest high on the 14th, and then very likely here on the 17th, 18th is our last high, maybe the 17th. But also, I advise people to be very cautious because today was the prudence card, and you can see there's this like huge move. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if like we come back down to these levels, based on like um, this like outrageous move out of nowhere, if you will. But that's another thing. There's some uncertainty here on the 10th because the Prince of Swords, and it could go either way. What you know about the Prince is that there's a lot of price change a lot of ground covered, a lot of price change covered. And with the swords specifically, there's going to be a lot of volatility. There's probably an important resistance highlighted in there. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin. Oh man, so definitely left some on the table with that short, but even so, it was still a really solid trade. The entry was this green ellipse that for the short. The exit was in here. Even if you missed the opportunity there, there was an even better opportunity the next day. So these ellipses were really, really solid. The risk here is that this expectation on the 1 year might have been this, especially because we've got this failure card. So that's like the alternate that's kind of becoming more and more of a likelihood. But like I said, we expected a high into key resistance there. It ended up being that science price level that we have marked off. Then we came back down, and it's like a sideways fluctuating decline here. Sharp drop on the 9th. Right here on the 9th, we've got that unicursal hexagram. So what's a little tricky here is this Empress card. Some people probably entered into a long position here with the intent to enter into that larger ellipse. It's a possibility. So let me back up. I'm going to do this. I want to pivot it. How do I do that? Something like this. It's a little difficult, but there's a strong possibility that this was the peak. There's still possibility that we come back in here, but it's a little. There's a lot of things that are saying on a larger scale we're going lower here. And remember what we were talking about earlier at the beginning of the month, that the real opportunity to open up a long position on like a multi-day scale is going to be here at the very end of the month. Hey, it was luck. Hey, Rad. Yeah, so yeah, on the 10th we should have out of a decline, and this is what I mean when you hear me talk about the futility card. What I'm talking about is so like out of a scary technical chart situation where you expect to go lower, there's a big move to the upside even in the face of seemingly overwhelming headwinds or scary chart behavior that you think is going to be more negative. This is that type of situation here. So it might even be that we break through this is this the 200-day? I believe this is the 200-day moving average. Might even like poke through that before we have this move to the upside. But what I'm thinking is that these are, rather than them being highest highs, I think we're on a really strong downward trend, in which case you have to give everything on the timeline kind of like a skew to the downside. The moves to the upside aren't going to be as big as you want them to be or as you expect them to be. The moves to the downside are usually bigger than you expect them to be when you have that situation happen with a really strong overarching trend. And that could very much be the case with this failure thing here. So I would be very careful about hopping into a long position at any point here. I think this is a time to just kind of like step back and kind of like watch what happens and stay poised for whatever transpires here around the 19th. That's going to be an important, the 18th, 19th is going to be a really important price level or moment for the month of October for Bitcoin. And then stay poised for this entry for a long position here on the 30th. Can I please guide on TTD and JD remainder of the week? Hey, Cajun, we'll take a look at Theta for you. Just give me a moment. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. What the heck? What's going on here? Alright, I'm going to make a new chart for that. Remainder of week and into next week. Overall trend for TTD between now and the end of next week. There's a peak that we're going to sell off pretty notably, like a pretty sharp decline off of a peak. Oh wow, that makes a lot of sense when you look at the chart. Was the tower card. So by the day, I got the unicursal for a week from this Friday. Might be a good opportunity to short in the midst of a rally that starts a week from today on this coming Wednesday. Probably continues into Thursday. I would look for a fast sudden move higher, kind of ending the rally. And you could probably open up a short there to close on Friday. Close on Monday. A week from this Monday. JD. Is that AC too loud, guys? I wonder, because it's getting hot in here, and I get a migraine if it's too hot. Let me know if that's too loud, and I'll put on a fan instead or something. Oh, this looks poised. We were looking at this a couple of weeks ago, I think. Maybe last week. Completion of a rally, overall trend between now and the end of next week. And that'll be like a crest that forms specifically, not a peak that forms, but a crest. So let's see if we can identify where that completion takes place, what day. Oof, that's tricky. Matter of fact, it makes sense. So probably I'm seeing with both TTD and JD, kind of like a mixed rally into the end of next week, and then there's like a turnover. And when I compare that to the S&P chart and what I was saying about how the high today makes me think that we're going to be higher here in the following week, rather than this being a low here, these are going to be highs. That follows along with that pretty well. Okay, cool. Thanks, it was luck. All right, let's take a look at theta. Then we're going to take a look at, we had somebody asking me earlier about Boeing's earnings, which are coming up. And then I'm going to take a look at silver, because for whatever reason, silver kind of popped up for me. And we might be in an opportunity. I'm going to take a closer look for you guys. Theta, all right. Man, this stock, this coin is frustrating me. What the heck? All right, let's see what's going on. Theta's the one that's really been giving me a hard time in 2024. In 2023, that's PCE, following the appropriate pattern as outlined by the prediction, but not coming in nearly close on as far as expectations of price levels. Really, really frustrating stuff for me. What the heck? This is supposed to move. There we go. That actually looks similar to Boeing. Maybe not. Okay, so like there's been possibilities, and they weren't like the clearest possibilities, but I've been saying there's possibilities of highs here and highs here. That was July, August, September. They didn't end up being highs. July, August, we had a peak. August, September, we had a peak. So I see kind of a similar possibility going on here in October. The thing is that after that, much clearer is there's a low. Very likely we have a lowest low there towards the end of November. The science card and the fool card are what make me think it's possible that we've got a really significant high before this universal drop into the low. But if I'm wrong about that, that could really hurt. What's encouraging about theta is that after that low, it appears that things start to get a lot more bullish, especially either at the very end of December or in the very beginning of January. More likely the very beginning of January, we should see higher price levels than we've had in 2024. And that's a lot clearer than most of, like, the second half of this 2024 reading's just been like, what a headache, my gosh. I mentioned today marks end of rally for NVIDIA. Is that still case in light of SPY going higher? This looks like it's going higher based on technicals and the RSI, where the RSI is at. Let's put it up against the 1 year. So this definitely looks like it's going higher. Um, it looks like the rally probably for Nvidia, it's going to turn over at the end of October or the beginning of November, and then there should be a pretty significant move to the downside into a trough there. But there's a lot going on here, so you know the more they're going on there, the more ways you can read it. But it does look significantly like there's a low in there, that especially with that Princess of Cups. So likely we've got this like peak here towards the end of October, like on the cusp of October, early November. Okay, so likely what's going to happen is we're going to hit that 140 range. Are we going to hit that 140 range? Claire Audience is even confirming right now for me. My guides are telling me through the music right now that this is going lower based on what my expectation is here on the 1 year. The reversal. Yeah, so it's going to be right around that price range. Remember, you don't want to trade exact price levels with the SO meta analysis, but somewhere right around the range of the high is where we'll have a reversal, and it's going to be somewhere towards the end of October or the very beginning of November. But be very, very careful, because there's a sharp decline in there, and there's a short, an opportunity to open up a short. What you're looking for most likely is like some sideways rotation, and maybe like a fast sudden move higher out of that sideways rotation. Probably where I would look to enter into the short and expect the completion. If we break through this 140-ish price level, it'll be like momentarily most likely, and we'll turn around and break back down through it shortly thereafter. Hey, shoot him up. Tao, sure thing. It's not that if I don't put anything on the chart, shoot them up. It doesn't mean, nothing's gonna happen. Obviously, I think you're probably poking fun at me, but no, it's like if I don't see it, like I can't put it on there if I don't see it, and I don't always see it. Price levels are definitely like one of the later additions to the system, being able to determine price levels and extrapolate stuff and transfer it onto the chart. So there's a lot of improvement, advancement, evolution, you should say, in that regard to go. But we could take a look at Tau. I'm pretty sure, I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure Tau is one of the leaders in the altcoin picker reading. But I'd have to double check. That's coming out relatively soon. Yeah, I think we were saying this was gonna be pretty bullish. Do I have the right one? Yeah, bit of sensor. Bitensor. Yeah, there's not enough of a chart to really extrapolate it properly. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Sorry, guys, I'm just asking questions real quick in my mind to deduce behavior here. No kidding. Okay, so this is going to establish support at a higher price level. It's going to establish higher support um, within October, it looks like. Let me see. I'm getting a lot of sidewaysy behavior. Rotation. All right, let's do it like this. The remainder of the year, overall chart behavior. It's a move to the upside and a full retracement. Whoa. Yeah, this looks like it's hanging out within this range. It's a little unclear because there's so much sidewaysy stuff going on. Overall, I'm super bullish on this. That's my feeling. But as far as the end of 2024, it's looking probably somewhere around, like staying somewhere in this range here. Probably, like. Let me see if that's an accurate range. Yeah, that looks about right. So we should stay around there and consolidating. There's like an attempt to establish support, and it'll at least will establish support at a higher level, at least temporarily. I don't know about looking into 2025, but eventually it looks like we'll probably establish that support. And once it's established as support, usually what happens is you move to the upside, right? Hey, Proof. Sol, can I check the remaining for October on Sol? Sure thing. And then I'm going to cut the questions there, guys, with Shoot 'em Up's last question, because I need to get Bitcoin and silver, or excuse me, Boeing and silver done as well. What am I looking for? Sol. And Solana will cover by the day on a monthly basis, starting with the December readings, which is not too soon, not too far from now, guys. The November readings should be coming out all during like next week, along with a bunch of 2025 readings. Ton of stuff working in the background here. Where is that? Oh, here it is. Yeah, this one is really clear. And what's interesting about this one is I don't see a lot of downward behavior. Well, hold on. It looks like a year's high here in November. And I was gonna say I don't see a lot of downward movement. Like there, it really isn't a lot of bearish energy going on. The Ace of Wands does indicate that you wanna cap off gains here in November's high and or open up a short. But there's not a lot as far as like really bearish behavior going on there. And then the science card might be indicating a high again as well. So Solana is looking super bullish for the remainder of the year. But here in October, I think we're going to see an October low towards the end of October. Off of that low, there should be a fast sudden move higher. And first off, there'll be like sideways rotation along key support, attempting to establish support, and then there'll be a fast sudden move higher. Um, on a multi-day scale. With a trade opportunity at a crest right on the cusp or in the first week of November. So I think probably here we're going to see, let's see if we go any lower here. We're probably going to go a little bit lower based on the RSI. If you don't know RSI, guys, it's one of the indicators that I follow pretty closely with most of my things, most of my charts. RSI relative strength indicator gives you an idea of like the probability of a reversal, and so we're kind of like in no man's land there, where we are. Okay, so I keep getting this luxury card, and I got a full card opportunity. I wonder if that's it. So for the remainder of October, full card opportunity in the midst of a decline off of a crest. So I'd say we're likely going to go a bit lower here. It's going to look like we're going much lower. In the period of volatility, there's a sharp drop. So Tau is something I'm going to be taking a closer look at for 2025. But should you hold your investment like long term? You're asking. I got a yes for that. Oh, this is about to turn around. Yeah, this is about to turn around. I think we probably establish this price level around here. Oh, excuse me. Like we're gonna enter into that probably tomorrow, and then do some sideways rotation along this. I would say probably opening up like a partial once we enter into this, and then if we go lower, add to it. We go lower, add to it, because this I feel pretty strongly about these ellipses over here on the 1 year. I feel very confident in these. Solana's one that I've been right on a lot for a long time, guys. Um, all right, well I'll try and answer it anyways. It was like if I've got time. Uh, let's take a look at Boeing real quick. Somebody was asking about earnings. My man Baz. Where is my Boeing? Oh, it's right in front of my face. Hmm. There's a good possibility of a high here in early November at this fortune card too. We'll see. So he was asking about earnings. So what's the chart reaction going to be for Boeing shares in regard to the coming earnings report? So we'll form a crest that we're going to sell off from down through a support level, and then we're going to come back and reuse the support. Generally, the luxury card is more bearish than bullish, so there might be like a little bit of a pop if we're not already kind of like in poised to form a crest or a peak. There'd be a little pop and then more of a drop. That's for Boeing's earnings coming up. Yeah, so again, I missed this entry. I was expecting to come out a little bit lower than it did. Unfortunately, it didn't. Even so, we did fulfill this price level as expected. I drew these ones a long time ago, guys. What really I'm expecting is the price level here in November to be within this range or possibly even higher. But we did have a highest high kind of going on, a highest high in October in the silver reading, right? Highest high in October, and then a highest high in November. So probably what happens is we come back to this. Um, I think it's probably towards the additional high is probably there in November. It does look like it's there in November, so might be a little bit of a buy opportunity in here, especially because here with the October reading, guys, the 1 year reading, which has been pretty spot on. We have the Empress card appearing in late October. Empress card is like a sideways fluctuating decline that precedes a rally. Think in like a moment like fertile for like a growth stock or something like that. So Empress card is usually a good opportunity to open up a long position, more so than closing a short. It's specifically more about opening up a long. Oh, actually, let's leave that where it was. It was there, right? I like to leave these up a little bit so that people can see what the past performance has been recently. And I think this is probably going to hang out around here. If you're new to the channel, these red ellipses where I expect to see a trough or low form, and then green ellipses where I expect to see a peak or a crest of some kind or high. Matter of fact, this might actually be turning around right here. Bound by a range in October. Do that again. So if you're looking for an entry into silver, what I might do here is open up like 25% of a long position. And then if we enter into this range, that's where I would like really pull the trigger with the expectation to close out within this darker green ellipse area. This is stuff that with the total access pass on our website. We're actually making that, by the way, guys. We've decided we're going to make that into a subscription again. So that the pricing, like I said, for that is all changing. Look out for more accessibility for the total access plan than we've recently had. And the Discord alerts and the live updated trading view chart, all part of total access subscription. But this is, if I'm not on a Discord at the time and we enter into this, pull the trigger on a long position. All right, I got 7 minutes. It was like, I'll see what I can do. All right, so for Len, remainder of October. I got volatility and a sharp drop that'll stand out in that volatility. Nero. Will Nero be bullish this strong? I don't think I have that one in this year's altcoin picker reading, so shoot that to me in the Discord and remind me. I'll put that in part 2. There's going to be 3 parts for the altcoin pickers. There's an altcoin sector picker, and then there's an altcoin picker with 3 parts to it. Nero, will it be bullish this run? It's a bit unclear. Ask me another time about Nero. All right, guys. With that said, I'm gonna roll. Thank you all so much for watching. Much love and appreciation. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. And as always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. Our next scheduled time to be on is 9 a.m. Wednesday morning, or excuse me, 9 a.m. Thursday morning, i.e. tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's a regularly scheduled members only. So you can watch if you're not a member, but in order to ask questions, you need to sign up as a member. $50 a month gets you unlimited questions. We're on 5 to 6 days a week. All right, my friends, I will see you tomorrow morning.